More than any other show we currently watch, every episode of Foundation feels like a chapter of a book or a thread from a tapestry.
What you're saying is, it feels slow.
And this particular chapter focuses on our truly main characters, Cleonce, Demerzel, and Gale, with a sprinkling of side characters for good measure.
And we get to see Ebling miss again.
He seemed particularly attached to that character, McCluck.
It's only because of the actor portraying him. I'm kind of a fan of his since his DS9 days.
Perfectly understandable, but back to this story. A few secrets are revealed. One we knew already,
That Empire has had the Prime Radiant since the end of Season 2.
while another felt like a heck of a reveal 4 years in waiting.
300 from the point of view of this story.
It turns out we didn't know who the real terrorists were who blew up the Star Bridge at the start of the show.
We thought it was a group of terrorists, and their planet was severely punished.
And yet that planet had nothing to do with it. It was Demerzel.
I've got to admit it was nuts, and yet it was delivered in such a cold, unfeeling way.
Just like a robot. Well, from what I understand, she did it so Cleon would grant Harry Seldon's wish to set up Foundation, which would help strengthen the Empire in the long run.
Doesn't look like it's working now, does it?
And then there's the reveal about that cult of robots and what Cleon the First did to them.
That secret circles back to the huge reveal we got in Season 2 about Demerzel's origins.
That story is really like a tapestry with old threads linking to new ones.
I must admit, I'd forgotten how imposing Day was supposed to look like in his prime. The one we have now is more of a fluffy teddy bear in appearance.
Day's fluffy teddy bear appearance is but a mask mouse. As we realize by the end of this episode, he's not as impotent as he seemed.
He's still as cold and calculating as he always is, and all his bumbling actions we've seen since the start of this season were done to amass intel.
To that end, I particularly like the Cleon's inner desire to break free and do their own thing.
Do you think it shows the increasing degradation in their genetic code?
On the contrary, if you think about it, the first Cleon himself broke with tradition. He didn't produce an heir, but a clone dynasty, forcing Demerzel to oversee it over the centuries. Deep down, he's a rebel, and his clones have been forced to play a role which they're actually not suited for.
And that's why so many of them have tried to rebel in their own way, and why each time we catch up with a story, there's always one striving for something different.
Or two this season.
Yeah, that's new.
And then there's Demerzel, the last robot, a supremely advanced machine who seems to be starting to question herself.
It's interesting to see how she's trying not to fight her programming, or to somehow justify her subtle reprogramming. She's in conflict, to be sure. She wouldn't have confessed to her being responsible for the Starbridge's destruction otherwise. But she only confessed to someone whose memory will be erased. Does that even count?
Well, there's clearly something there, like a burgeoning rebellion against her enforced imprisonment, maybe? She was once a general in the war against the humans, wasn't she? I mean, she can try and convince herself that her terrorist act was to strengthen Empire by making Foundation happen, but what if she's deluding herself in order to achieve her freedom centuries down the line?
Hopefully, this is the thread that will grow into something interesting.
Of less interest, I find, is Gale. She feels too overpowered for my liking, what with her powers, her ability to get into the heart of Trento without anyone noticing, and especially with her being so obsessed with her visions of the future. And I do miss her relationship with Harry.
It's not just the relationship that's missing, it's the entirety of Harry himself. I mean, he was a crucial part of the story over the last 2 seasons, and now he's been gone for too long. He's missed.
Not as much as Salvor.
Yeah, I'm still not over her death, truth be told.
Well, I enjoyed the people around her, especially Prim Palver. I really liked the scenes with him in them, when all you get is silence as he and the people around him communicate through signs.
Makes me appreciate the subtitles.
Ha ha, there is that.
What was interesting, though, was the exploration of the mule's powers. You know how you said many times how the writers have nerfed him since his introduction?
And I stand by that.
Yet here, we get a glimpse of just how important his Belladere was to him.
Well, except we're told he was somehow controlling everyone in the room at the time, so does that mean he was controlling Torin and Beta? Of course he wasn't, otherwise he wouldn't have allowed his musician to escape.
Yeah, that's a weird flaw, it seems, if he's that powerful, unless his escape was somehow part of his plan.
It didn't seem like it was at the time, mind. He's not enough part of this chapter for us to know either way. What we know, though, is that somehow both Dawn and Day have eluded their guards and all the security around them, which was something that was impossible for Dawn to do 300 years ago, yet now the tech surrounding them, protecting them, and keeping them captive is useless.
Well, we know Demerzel didn't anticipate Day's disappearance, nor of his theft of one of her tools, but maybe she's aware and is allowing Dawn's? I mean, she did allow Dawn to escape last season.
She might well have seen it in the Prime Radiant.
But not Day's plans?
I guess it's something we'll have to wait to get the answers to.
Foundation is a slow burn as the story builds to a crescendo by the season's finale.
That's the way it worked for the last 2 seasons.
There was more movement than anticipated last episode, but now we're back to a slower pace, even though events certainly are in motion. It's a very hard show to review week after week as the story only ends with the season finale, and each episode is but a slice of the whole. Despite its pace, it doesn't feel boring, and the episode's 48 minutes flew by. Any revelation we get feels crucial for those who have followed the story from the beginning, and there's more than enough of that in this chapter to keep us intrigued. I'm awarding The Stress of Her Regard 2.5 paws. But tell me, what do you think of this episode? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you like what we do,
And how we do it.
And you feel you'd like to help us out, please consider joining our Patreon.
As long as you can afford it, of course.
We'll leave a link to it in the description and pinned comment.
thanks for watching. And until then, live long
And come with me if you want to live.
There's more than enough of that in this chapter to keep us intrigued, and it's all falling apart.